So, since we are able to get the data now from the web browser to our server, now it's time to store this data in a database. For this, we are going to use one of the most popular NoSQL and free database available, which is MongoDB. So the first thing we have to do is we have to install MongoDB through npm if we want to use it as our database. For this, we will say npm install MongoDB, and we will save it. Then push enter, and it will start to download the libraries necessary. Okay. Once we have that installed, what we can do is we can use Mongo.Client connect methods. Okay. So we will go back at the top of our server.js file, and here we will say const Mongo.Client equals require, and now we will say MongoDB, and this will be of course like this, and we will say MongoDB client, Mongo client. Then that's done. Now what we will say is Mongo client dot connect. As you see, all the methods are available now, and here we will have a link to Mongo. We will establish that shortly. Okay, and then we have error database. Oh, I'm right now writing in ES6, sorry for that. So function, this is a callback. If there's an error, this will be filled, and here we will say start the server. Okay. So the next part is to get the correct links to our database. Most people store their databases on cloud services like MongoLab. Now it's MLab. So we are going to do the same, okay, because it's free. And now let's go to mlab.com. So I have already an account, so I will use my account. If you don't have an account, please create an account, and I will log in. So then we will say create new. So you will have multiple options. Who is the cloud provider? Amazon Web Services, Cloud, Google Cloud Platform, or Azure. Let's use Amazon Web Services, and then you have a plan type, which is sandbox free. This is what we are going to use, up to 500 megabytes. We have a shared one and a dedicated one. Let's go with the free one. And since I don't live in the US, I will use the Ireland one. It's faster. Okay, so let's continue. Ireland, this changed, this is new. It looks nice right now. Okay, continue. MongoDB version, test DB, continue. It's the total price is free. This is what we want. Submit order. Now it's creating our database, and progress. Thanks for your patience as we work. I couldn't even finish the line, and our database is now ready to be used. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to grab our URL, and we want to create a username and password. Okay, so for that Here we will say users, add database user, test user. Please don't lose these ones, okay? And let's type in a password. I hope I won't forget it. And don't make it read-only. Create. Please don't save it. Now we have our URL. Okay. So we are going to use this one. Copy it. And now we will head back to our project. Next, we want to start our server only when the database is connected, okay? This is why I wrote start the server here. So when we connect, I will start the server. When we won't be able to connect, we will throw an error, okay? This is why we will move the app.listen into the connect methods, okay? We're also going to create a DB variable to allow us to use the database when we handle requests from the browser. So what we will tell here is var db. This is will be our database. Now here we will put in our link. So let's continue. Let's delete this one. So we will say if there is an error, return console.log the error, and otherwise db equals to database, and we will say here the app listen will be here, okay? Seems to be pretty nice. So let me recap. We will start our server only and only if, now it's better. If our server is being able to connect to our database. Username equals to test user, and our password is, please don't do this, I will just do it so we will be able to see it. It's test user 1234. You don't have to try it. I will most probably close the server when you are watching this, so you won't be able to access my database, okay? And even if you do, you only have 500 megabytes you can fill, then it's gone. It will not auto charge. I hope so. Now what we have to do is we have to set up our MongoDB, and we will have to create a collection. So if you know databases, conventional databases, which are relational databases, you have tables. In MongoDB and in NoSQL DB, you have a collection. Okay, it's similar to a DB, but it doesn't work like a DB. It is a JSON structure, and you can store in it JSON files. Now we can create the to-do collection. This is the name of our collection. By using the string to do while calling MongoDB's db.collection methods, okay? While creating the to-do collection, we can also save our first entry into MongoDB with the save method simultaneously. So I really love the NoSQL structures. They are very flexible, but you have to be careful, of course, because there's less control. You are faster to do things, it's more flexible, but normal database, they restrict more, so you don't make more mistakes. So you have to be careful when using DBs like MongoDB and NoSQL DBs. But once you're familiar with it, it's quite simple. Once we are done saving, we have to redirect the users somewhere, or they will be stuck waiting forever for our server to move. In this case, we are going to redirect them back to our main root, which is just /, which causes their browser to reload. Okay, so now inside post, we had a console log that is going to change. Our users, they will be able to post a to-do to our application, okay? So what we will say is db.collection. Now we will say to-do. We will say save. It will have a request and a response. sorry, it will have a request body. And then we will have a function result. And inside this, let's check first for an error. And okay, we don't need that. Return console.log the error. Otherwise, console.log, and let's write saved to our DB. And now we will redirect them to redirect to our main page. Okay, so it will be like, for a very, very short moment, the web browser will move to our application name /todo, and then when it's done, we will redirect them back to the root. They might not be able to see it. Okay, let's check if we have done everything. So we connect to the DB. I hope this is going to work. Then we will check for errors. Then we will initialize our DB. Then we will start listening to the 3000 port, and our server will be running. Then once you receive a post, it has to be /todo. So this is done here. Okay, we will move to to-do. It will send us our to-do and priority. We will get that inside our request body. Then we will say DB collection. We created the DB here collection. In our to-do collection, which is not available right now, but will be once this statement executes. And we will say save inside our request body. Okay. And if in this transaction there's a problem, an error, then please log it to our console. If not, say it's saved to our DB and then redirect the user. Whew. Okay. So the only thing left is we have to save it. And once it's saved, let's see. Oh, we have an authentication failed. Mongo error. Okay, what did I tell you? Please, please, please don't forget your username. So this is what I did, I think. Short-term memory, right? So now it's working. Dear friends, you always have to be very, very careful, okay? Or you can make stupid mistakes like I did. So now it's running. So let's go back. Let's hit enter. And here it is. No problems. Let's say Armon, or let's say read to do. Clean up. Priority 9. It doesn't have any priority. Okay. Now let's say save. We didn't even saw the to do right, but do you see it? Save to our DB. So it was so quick that the browser in milliseconds went to the localhost 3000 /todo and redirected it back. Okay. Now, the more interesting part is what happened here. Let's go to collections and let's refresh. And voila, we have our to do and we have one document inside of it. That's great. It's a name cleanup and the priority is 9. The MongoDB automatically creates a unique ID. There's an object ID. So for every document, so you don't have to take this in account. This is the object we created. This is done automatically, but you can change that by creating your own _ID. Then MongoDB won't create this kind of an ID. Let's do another one. Write some code. Priority 8. Oh no, 1. I love writing code. Let's go back. Let's check the console. Save to our DB. Let's refresh. Now we have 2 documents, right? Yes, so far so good. I have to congratulate you because until this point you were listening. I hope you were also coding and you are able to receive your request, parse it, and then send it to your own MongoDB and create your first document. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to retrieve the data, okay? We are going to select it, we are going to get it from the DB back to the console at first, and then maybe later on we are going to get it on our web page. But that's a little bit difficult. We will need a library. Just let me quickly explain why. So here, once the data comes back from the database, we have to change our index or another page HTML. And for that, we need a framework which is able to get the data and put it inside a variable or anywhere in our HTML. This is done via frameworks like Angular, React, Polymer, which I am teaching, and I love Polymer. I think there's a big future in it. And I also have a Polymer education e-course on Udemy if you want to get it. It's over 4 hours of education. And that's it. So far, so good. And let's get some data.